The first show! It's the first show! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Welcome to the first. Oh. Welcome to the first and probably last episode of On the Path. Hey, we got a very special guest today. Guys, we had to make sure today, all the material, that none of it is time sensitive. Because if anybody ever does watch this show, it's not going to be anytime soon. All right. Let's take it away. Let's take it away. Hey, thanks for coming all the way out here in the woods with us. We're out here this morning on this path to talk to my good friend, Mr. Steve Reese today.
I just hope that this reaches somebody before it's too late, because a lot of people and young people think they have all the time in the world, and life can come at you just and end just that quick.
It was even important for me when I was young to not be naive.
Big and bad anything, that's just wasn't the lifestyle and the atmosphere that I was brought up in. So moving forward, I ended up getting involved in some major drug dealing and everything. So which led me into a path where I eventually got caught a couple of times. I spent some time down in Georgia, then I had to do some federal time in Kentucky. While all this is going on is where I met my wife. And then she was pregnant with my twins, and so during the time of my conviction, I had 2 months to be with my twin boys, and then I had to self-surrender to go to prison, and that is a terrible, terrible experience. To be here holding your babies 1 minute, and then the next day you walking yourself into a federal prison to do some time for some mistakes that you made.
They were what ages you missed?
I missed that first year, but thank God that he granted me a wonderful wife, and she stepped in. And going back to my convictions, I'm a 2-time convicted felon. So it's hard enough for somebody with 1 felony to try to find a job, but when you get 2 felonies on your record and every time you do a background check.
From then till now, can you help people by telling them what brought you all the way to where you are today with your family and your job and getting to what you made with yourself?
There is a way that you can take yourself out of that situation with a little hard work, definitely with God by your side, that you can have a plentiful lifestyle, and you can still enjoy life without having to go through the ups and downs of being scared, afraid, and the drug dealing,
stress,
and all that stuff, and that stress, because there's a lot of stress. A lot of people see the glitz and glamour of the dope game and everything, but you don't understand that it's a scary thing. You constantly have to keep your head on the swivel. Some friends that you can trust, some that you can't. Not everybody's out for your good intentions, and a lot of people don't want to see you shine, so there's a lot of hating going on and everything. So that's all wrapped up within the drug lifestyle itself.
I found that I don't know what thing I do is going to turn into something that's not working your butt off, spinning your wheels.
I was working at the Olive Garden. I was there for about 10 years, and even though as hard as I worked, and I knew I was a great employee, but it came a time to where I was just asking God. I said, for as hard as I work, I'm not reaping the benefits of what I should be getting paid for. I need another door to open for me. But again, when you put out applications and everybody running that background check, and they see that you are convicted felon, and it's drug convictions on top of that, it just made the door so much harder on certain things. And so, again, I just thank God for having friends in certain places. It was a lot of God's help to help put me in a position to where I'm at right now.
Shed on God's aliveness now and through these past few years.
The favor of God is so favorable at times because favor sometimes opens doors that the human hand or some people just can't do. Sometimes finances just don't take care of everything. It has to be God's favor.
And I found part of the way you know that you're on the right path is because that favor is the only way that these opportunities have moved the way they have.
Well, absolutely. There has to be a trust with God. That's the one thing about Christians, that we have a lack of trust. We say that we trust God and we love God, but when we go through situations, that do we really turn to Him to help us through those situations? And when I say that with trust as well, even though that I'm not involved in that drug dealing or anything like that, sometimes the temptation of the devil can always make you go back and say, hey, well, you know you're running short on money. You know there's certain ways you can come about how to make money. But you have to trust God that you took me out of this situation. There's no way I'm going to allow myself to go backwards. And that's...
Can you believe that you're successful before you physically see it culminate? That I think that's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I have to know with that trust and get past all the stress, or you're going to be a mess. You're going to be a mess without the faith part.
And oftentimes, people don't get their blessings because they don't speak those things into the atmosphere. So, like you just said, sometimes you have to visualize yourself being a success before it actually happens. And sometimes God will allow you to see glimpses of what your success could be. But also, too, with that, there's going to might be some sacrifices, certain things that you was doing before you're not going to be able to do. You might have to require a closer walk with God, with conversation and prayer.
And it's going to require some tough times.
Absolutely.
Some trying times. Sometimes that's going to push you. The point I want to make to those of you clawing your way through, trying to make a name for yourself, trying to figure out what to do in your life is, you got to believe like we're talking with God, but you got to try. You try 10 things, you try 100 things. Little projects, you don't know what's going to fail, you don't know what's going to take off. And that's just the way things are. It's simple. But you put it out there and you keep trying, you're going to make it. You will make it. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Anytime,
Thank you
brother.
for opening up and sharing things that are personal to you to hopefully help people. That's the whole point of this.